Hello and welcome to another update on my Mets Realm theme team, Out of the Park Baseball 25 Perfect Team. This is the year 2037, and if you watched my previous update, you saw that I got promoted to the Iron League, and so now I'm kind of, hopeful that maybe I can remain in the Iron League and do well in the Iron League. So let's go see how well I did in my first season back in Iron League. Now, as always, I hold my results of the season until the end and I reveal it, and then you can guess what my record is at the end. So let's get started. So I've got the starting pitching up. Now, this is the first season that I have had a pretty solid rotation from top to bottom. And so you can see my Noah Syndergaard has a 2.68 ERA, 13 wins, 10 losses, and he was out. He was one of the best pitchers in this league for the year 2037. So I'm really happy about that. And then you can see I have Jacob deGrom on my team. So let's go take a look at his card. So this is the card that I recently acquired this season. So I think I missed him for about a day in this league, for a month, a season month, I should say. So he's 2014. He's not the best version of deGrom, but he's got a pretty solid card here. So I'm pretty happy to have him, and definitely bolsters my rotation a lot. So let's go back to the pitching screen. And so he was a 3.94 ERA, which is a little high for him. But in the context of this being 2014, it's not too bad. But in the context of his card, which is pretty strong, it's kind of on the low end of results. So I'm still trying to figure out how to tweak his card and get the most out of his card with his individual settings. So 20 starts and a 3.94 ERA. Probably should be better than that down the line. Now, Craig Swan, interesting card, a 3.00 ERA, and he has got 15 wins, 10 losses, and I'm really happy with how well he did, because he's a third starter, and that's probably where he should be, a third or fourth starter, and a 3.0 ERA, can't complain about that. So he's a fully upgraded Craig Swan, so that's nice. And yeah, he really did a great job, much better than any other times that I've had, much better than recently. I mean, I'm looking at his previous results, 3.71 and then 4 ERA the last time I was in the Iron League. So definitely better than even the league before this, which is supposed to be an easier league. So very, very thrilled with his results. Let's go back to pitching. And then we've got Frank Viola, 3.20 ERA. So he was much better than I expected, and he was actually kind of on the way out of my rotation from previous season. So I'm very happy with 3.20, 12 wins, 6 losses, and yeah, can't complain. Frank Viola. So you can probably get a sense of how well my pitching was this season. Now, Bobby Ojeda, this one's an interesting one. 4 wins, 11 losses. I actually had him out of my rotation for a short time. So he was a 4.33 ERA, which is a lot lower than I would have expected. Let's go take a look at his game log, just to show you his inconsistency. So we'll go to game log here. And you might have to go full screen to see this on your end. So ERA is this column right here. So started off pretty rocky with 4 earned runs, then 1 earned run, then 5 earned runs, and 4 earned runs. And just like that, he's at a 5 ERA, 5.16, and then couldn't really get a good groove on my team. Giving up 6 runs, 5 runs. Yeah, just not particularly great. So, yeah, 6 runs in July, 5 runs early August, 4 runs September. Then he finished the season strong with 0-3-1-2 for those last 4 starts. But you can see on the right side of the screen, all that red, those are all the losses. So, not that great. Well, let's go back to the pitching. And so, yeah, Bobby Ojeda pitched like I usually rely on him to be better, but luckily my other pitching kind of picked him up, so it wasn't too bad. Billy Wagner now, my closer. This one's an interesting one. He did okay. He had a really bad stretch. He had a 5 ERA, which is not good. 34 saves. And I probably would have been in a better position to do better this season if he had not blown some saves. So let's get into his game log right here, and let's take a look at his right side. You can just look at the right side here, the red and the BS blown save. Not good. So he did well in the beginning up until, I want to say, April, end of April, and then he blew his first save. And then his ERA ballooned to 5.93 at the beginning of May. But then he did have there was a stretch, I want to say, no, it was this stretch actually in May, that he was just blowing saves, and like, I was really close to pulling him as the closer, but I also didn't really have a better option, so I had to stick with Wagner. Now, Adam Ottavino, not particularly amazing, but for whatever reason, he seems to do pretty decent on my team. So he had a 2.98 ERA and not terrible. Jesse Orozco, 2.82 ERA, not terrible either. Roger McDowell, I ended up moving him back onto my bullpen for Dwight Gooden because Dwight Gooden was kind of failing. So Roger McDowell, 3.46. Not terrible, but I expected him to be a little bit better. Edwin Diaz, who stunk on my team last season, did a lot better this season with 2.93 ERA. He had a pretty bad stretch. Let me go take a quick look at his log. Here. He had a really bad stretch, like around here, I believe. August. Those 2 reds that you can see. Here, blown save, blown save. But his ERA kind of stayed the same. Didn't go too bad because he inherited runners, and yeah, he was part of that stretch of Wagner where Wagner was blowing and then Orozco blew a few, and just a lot of inconsistency. So Danny Frisella, 3.91 ERA, unreliable. Had him set for use less often, so I'm glad that he got his ERA under 4, so kind of happy about that, but didn't have high expectations. He was actually, I can look at The tooltip, he was a 5.85 ERA last season on an easier league, so maybe he's gonna be better. We'll see. Brooks Raley, 3.52 ERA. I had him on avoid high leverage. He's very up and down, and don't know what else to say about that. Bartolo Colon is my long reliever, avoid high leverage. I was actually kind of happy with what he did with a 4.52 ERA. Don't ask for much, and he's got pretty decent stamina stats, so kind of happy about that. And then let's go to our lineup. So let's see. Here we go. So this is my lineup. Roger Cedeno as a leadoff. So you can just look at the lineups right here. And then I'll look at the stats, go through the stats. So let's go to the stats now. So Rusty Staub batting 300 for me. I was very happy about that. 16 homers, 15 RBIs. Really good versus righties. And then Piazza. I think this is the first full season I've had him on my team. 24 homers, 84 RBIs. I actually have him splitting between DH and catcher so that I can get some better catching and not lose his bat. So that's one of the decisions I made this year to kind of improve my offense and my pitching at the same time. And then Dave Magadan, 261. Not terrible, not great. He wasn't quite as good as I would have wanted him to be. Kaz Matsui, not particularly great, but not horrible. He was good. I want to say he was good against lefties, 295 against lefties. So I had a lot of split lineups this season where a lot of players were better versus righties and not against lefties and vice versa. So, and Darryl Strawberry batted 34 homers, which is a lot for my team. Like, this is probably this is the first full season. No, he only had 136 games, so I actually got Darryl, I think, after the first day of the season. I think it was after the first day, or maybe did I have him at the end of last season? No, I think I had him at the end of the last season, but I put him in a better spot on my lineup. I had him second, so he was 34 homers, 68 RBIs, and his overall average was bad, 247, but he was decent against righties, which is what I care about. And Roger Cedeno is the unsung hero for my offense because he finally did something for me. He batted 242 against overall, but he did bat 260 against righties, and he was better earlier in the season. So very happy about that. And as you can see, I upgraded his card 3 times. So very happy that he's contributing, and he's also helping out the defense. So very thrilled about that. And then Dom Smith didn't really do much. 8 homers, 54 RBIs, 231. I think he had good splits. Let me see. No, he wasn't. He was actually a down year this year, which was kind of disappointing. So not a particularly great year. Mauricio, 230 average, 6 homers, 29 RBIs. I should say you can't see the stolen bases on your screen, but Cedeno had 35, caught 16. Matsui had 13, caught 6. Jose Reyes had 27, caught 10. And let's see. Reyes batted 220. Duffy Dyer, 6 homers, 36 RBIs. He's my defensive catcher. And so I'm not too upset with his offense because he's there for defense, but he did give me decent offense, batting 261 versus righties. So can't really complain about that. He's my catcher, low expectations. And yeah, I just need him to help my pitching. So that's with that. Now let's go to Reyes and his splits. He was actually not that great. He was 220 versus both lefties and righties. So kind of disappointed about that. But I did upgrade him once or twice during the season. So let's go back to the lineup. Howard Johnson, 214 and 16 homers, 61 RBIs. Not too great. Expected a little bit more from him from the power department, but can't complain. He struck out 148 times. Not as much as Cedeno, 191. Then Lindor, who does nothing for my team. He just stinks with his live card for some reason. But he's there for defense. He's on my team for defense as a replacement. So that's unfortunate. And then Pete Alonso's got me 20 homers, 71 RBIs, batting 193 overall, and he's got a 214 average versus lefties, 184 average versus righties. Really low average, obviously, but has power, so I'm kind of juggling between first base and DH with Alonso and benching him, whichever I feel helps the team. So, yeah, so that's pretty much it for my offense. Now that I gave you my entire stat line, I want you to take a guess of my record. I will reveal my record in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So my team finished 81 and 81, right at the 500 mark, which is pretty surprising and actually very reassuring because I was really, really unsure if these additions would level my team up a lot. But they did with DeGrom, Syndergaard, Strawberry, and now Piazza. So this is what my team record looks like. 81 and 81, right in the middle. The relegations down below here. So my team sticks in the Iron League at 81 and 81. And we will fight another day to move up so we don't get demoted. That's good. And we were, let's see, wild card race. We were 7 out of the wild card. We were in a pretty tough conference this time around with the 88 wins on the bottom 2 wild cards. And tough luck wild card for this team that had 106 wins. So this is where my team is, and just so you can see, if you go full screen, you can see I was 3rd in ERA, 8th in strikeouts. I was low on runs and average, but I was 16 in homers, primarily because I have Piazza and Strawberry on the team now. So that's pretty much it for this update. Now we go into another league, another season, going to 2038, hoping to break through. And there are 2 cards that I still need to get for my Mets theme team. This Beltron card. Well, I'm gonna show it right here. Beltron right here. This Beltron card I'm still trying to get. And this Christian Scott card. It was a Christian. What's his name? I'm blanking out his name. Christian Scott. Yeah, that's his name. This is the one I'm missing right here. This is a beauty card. This is a really good card. I don't know if it's justifiably this good, because he's only played like a few starts, I should say, but it's a really good card, and when I get this card, my pitching is going to really take off. But right now, my hitting is the issue that needs to get a little bit better, so I'm going to be going for that Beltron card. And as you can see, I got 234 packs to open, which is a lot of packs, obviously. But I'm not going to open them until more Mets cards are released so I can improve my team. So just going to stick it out a little while longer with this team. If I feel desperate, then I'll open the packs. I was feeling desperate the past 2 weeks and really scrambling to scrounge up some points to buy Piazza and hopefully get DeGrom, and I was able to do that. And now my team feels like it has steadied. And I was actually, if you watch my previous updates, I was really close to quitting. But I feel like now that my team is steadied and I've sort of balanced everything out with my team, righted the ship, I'm going to battle on for a few more seasons at least until I feel I can't compete anymore. Usually that happens around August, when I start to feel like it's just I don't have a fighting chance, and being a free-to-play player kind of just kills my team, and I don't feel like I can compete and have upwards mobility, but I am missing 2 great cards now, so yeah, we'll see how much longer I stick in this. So that's the end of 2037. My Mets Realm theme team, and yeah, maybe we will make the playoffs next season and advance upwards. Now that I have a pretty good idea of how good my team is and where I can make changes and stuff on the lineups and pitching. So I'm hoping my pitching does as well next season as it did this season, but that's usually not the case. So, as the crapshoot this is. So, anyway, thanks for watching. If you like this update, don't forget to like and subscribe. Much appreciated. And as always, yeah, like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. That'd be much appreciated. And so that's it. Pretty much. Have a nice day.